Let's look at how we traditionally view a modern vessel. On the left, you see flawless engineering, perfectly calibrated propulsion and navigation systems. But on the right is the reality of operating that machinery under pressure. You have an erratic, tense bridge team dealing with extreme isolation, fatigue, and rigid hierarchies. This image shows the headquarters of the International Maritime Organization. They oversee global shipping regulations, including the STCW frameworks. Recognizing that human error precipitates the vast majority of marine casualties, recent regulatory amendments mandate explicit training for the human element. The best engineering in the world cannot offset a crew that fails to coordinate. To build a high-reliability operational unit, bridge and engine room resource management protocols require 10 distinct behavioral competencies: communication, teamwork, decision-making, situational awareness, assertiveness, leadership, assignment, allocation, consideration of team experience, and adaptability. A ship is a complex socio-technical system. When these specific skills are actively practiced, operations run smoothly. But if they degrade, the environment becomes toxic, and a routine watch can quickly devolve into a catastrophic failure. We use Edgar Schein's onion model to dissect how a ship's culture actually functions. The outer layer represents artifacts, the observable things like uniforms or the physical layout of the bridge. The next layer holds the espoused values, like the official safety manuals or zero alcohol policies prescribed by the shipping company. The core of the onion is where the danger lies, the basic underlying assumptions. These are the invisible, taken-for-granted beliefs that dictate actual behavior. If a junior cadet spots a dangerous error in a passage plan, but believes questioning the captain will lead to severe punishment, that critical information never reaches the command node. The espoused safety values are rendered useless. This chart illustrates the globe cultural dimension of power distance. Navigating a multinational crew requires cultural intelligence. An officer from a low power distance culture expects flat, direct communication. Place them with a master from a high power distance culture, which relies on steep hierarchies and deep respect for authority, and severe friction occurs. Here is the container ship Costco Busan after it collided with the San Francisco Bay Bridge. The accident investigation revealed a total communication breakdown between the American pilot and the Chinese captain. Without cross-cultural training, ethnocentrism paralyzed the bridge team during a critical maneuver. Let's break down how a leader manages resources during a high-stakes scenario. Step 1 is allocation. This is the strategic distribution of your physical and temporal resources. If you are navigating a narrow strait, you recognize the bottleneck and allocate extra generic personnel for monitoring and steering. Step 2 requires consideration of team experience. You evaluate the specific human condition of those resources. This requires empathy to recognize diverse backgrounds, physical limitations, or severe fatigue from a punishing 6 hours on, 6 hours off watch routine. Step 3 is assignment. Now that you have evaluated the operational needs and the human limitations, you systematically delegate the specific workload to the appropriately matched individual. Executing these 3 distinct skills out of sequence, or skipping a step, ensures cognitive overload for the crew. Assigning a critical maneuver to a fatigued novice transforms a manageable challenge into an immediate crisis. Leadership at sea progresses through distinct stages of influence. We start at level 1, position. A master operating solely at this level relies entirely on the rank on their epaulets and intimidation to command the vessel. It mandates compliance, but it actively destroys morale and increases crew turnover. Moving up the tiers requires relationship building. By the time a leader reaches level 4, they are actively coaching their subordinates and sharing the glory of success. This builds deep loyalty and creates an environment of psychological safety. Consider this scenario. A master from a high-power distance culture orders a dangerous course correction. As the junior officer of the watch, you see the danger. Which specific soft skills must you deploy right now to intervene without causing a breakdown in the chain of command? You need to deploy assertiveness to challenge the unsafe directive, combined immediately with adaptability. You frame the correction respectfully, acknowledging the cultural context to save the master's face while firmly averting the danger. Positional rank is enough to force a vessel forward, but only a leader who cultivates relational influence and psychological safety will have a crew brave enough to speak up and stop that vessel from sinking. Historically, the maritime industry's blame culture met honest errors with harsh punishment, creating terror. Hidden mistakes compounded into casualties. Now, port state control enforces a just culture. Near misses become critical learning opportunities, using collaborative debriefs to improve safety systems without fear of retaliation. This cohesive framework brings it all together, navigating the organizational onion's deep assumptions, elevating through the 5 leadership levels, and applying the 10 core soft skills. Engineering operates the machinery, but cultural intelligence, psychological resilience, and mastering these behavioral competencies ultimately guarantee the crew's survival.